Hey guys, thank you for coming back. This is Corners News. I'm going to bring you a video. I'm going to show you a video from a channel named Blue Line Whistleblower. This guy, his name's Jack Miller from the San Angelo area, San Angelo, Texas. He got arrested in October the 5th, 2020 for not identifying himself after the department received a possible intoxicated person call. They immediately questioned him and started demanding identification. After he denied their request, they arrested him for failure to ID. When the sergeant arrived on scene, the sergeant questioned the officers involved, and he ordered his immediate release, and they released him on the spot. After this, Mr. Miller filed a formal complaint in the department. They investigated the officers, and he got a hold of those video recordings for the internal investigation. This is one of the videos he obtained, and this is to show you how misinformed officers in Texas are regarding identification laws. In this case, Texas Penal Code 3802. Please let them know I sent you. I hope you liked this video, and thank you again for being here.
Can I talk to you for a minute? Y'all can go on, thanks. But you haven't had anything to drink today, anything like that? You just getting off work or something?
No. That's home.
Okay.
Huh?
Jack.
Huh?
Jack?
Jack?
Jack what? Yeah,
It does matter. You just gotta use that to put it on like verify who you are.
No.
You have any idea who you are?
I do. I don't have to get ready.
Truly, I want to verify who you are. Go Dr. Davis, go monitor ID and stuff. That easy, that simple. My part is explain everything to me. Okay.
Can you meet me? I want to make
Is he refusing to ID?
Yeah.
Okay, bud. This is an intoxicated subject call. Okay. So, this is what's probably going to happen if it hasn't been explained to you already. Unless you identify yourself for this legal investigation, you're going to be arrested for failure to ID. Listen to me. And then we're going to call CPS to come pick up your kid.
Okay, so now you're threatening
So,
to take my
what's your ID?
You're threatening to take my
What's your identification?
What's your name, dude?
Can I talk? I mean, y'all work.
You have one thing to respond with right now, and that's to identify yourself.
And you can't be failure to identify is whenever you have been lawfully arrested. You cannot get failure to identify unless you've been lawfully arrested.
Should we just arrest him?
You can place under arrest for failed to ID.
We got one resisting. We got him in custody.
802. It's Penal Code 3802. You can't be arrested unless you fail to identify or give it false information after you've been lawfully arrested.
All right. Release him. Okay. Explain to him that there was a mistake in the understanding of the law.
Okay.
And that he's free to go.
But in your mind, y'all are consensually contacting or detaining him.
I'm looking back at now. I'm probably looking at it as a consensual. Is probably more. We were probably handling more as a detainment at that time. It should have been just handled as consensual, and we should have been done with it. Officer Weber asked us, where we're at. Tell Weber, hey, we got him. We're over here by the self checkout. Officer Weber comes in. The three of us are talking with him at this point. I can't remember exact details how everything goes from this point. I know Weber asked me, is he under arrest for failed ID? Because we remember telling him, like, hey, you could be arrested for failed ID. That's where we're going, thinking now we're treating as detainment. But looking back at it now, we should have done it as a consensual and just been done.
But at that point in time, were y'all detaining him?
It was being detainment.
So he was being detained.
Yes, sir.
and refusing to identify himself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At that time, what was your understanding of the law pertaining to being detained and refusing to ID yourself
I was looking at the charge of field ID.
based
That was-
on,
Him not giving us the information who he was.
because what, like I said, what was your understanding? You felt like somebody being detained had to give you their name,
Yes, sir.
Okay, dumbass. Not very bright, are you?
and you've since,
Since I've re-educated myself, talked to Sergeant Guido, the next day, me and him sat there for, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 minutes. I can't give you an exact time frame, but he sat there and me and him looked at it and we talked about it, explained it to me. I've looked at it since then also just to keep myself refreshed and stuff like that.
so a person being detained, what's the law say? What's the penal code say about giving their name?
If it's a lawful detainment, then yes, they have to identify themselves to us.
Okay, dumbass. Not very bright, are you?
If it's a lawful detention,
Yes, sir.
okay.
What's your understanding, just so I'm clear, just what is your understanding if you have somebody detained and they don't want to give you the name?
If they don't give us name at that point, that's when I would go to effect arrest. But
And you spent time reviewing that law since then?
I haven't looked at it recently. I looked at it the first few days and weeks after it.
Well, that would be not correct. You could not force someone to give a name unless they're arrested.
Okay.
That's the kind of the heart of this is that if they're detained and they give a false name, then you can arrest them for failure to identify. If they are lawfully detained and they provide false information, but if they just don't tell you the name, then they have to be arrested for another offense.
Okay. Then I need to reread again and correct myself.
So if you went back to the same call when you left here, went back to Walmart, same exact call, and the guy won't get, he's being detained, and
Been done with it.
Huh?
I'd have been done with it. Just let him go. He's not. I mean, I'm not.
I just want to make sure,
No,
Brandon, that you understand the law, so we don't have to do this again.
Yes, sir. No, I understand. That's my mistake. Like I said, it's been a while since I've read it again, so we'll re-educate myself and reread it. And
So
make sure
let me
I
ask you
fully
this
understand.
way: under this, pertaining to this incident, you're detaining this guy, and he didn't want to identify himself. Could you lawfully arrest him?
No, sir.
Could you arrest him if he lied to you about his ID?
No, sir.
Okay, dumbass. Not very bright, are you?
Didn't have with Sergeant Griffith's, information that didn't have a lawful arrest.
If you're detaining somebody and they lie to you, you can arrest them for failure to ID.
If they lie.
If they lie to
Right.
you. Okay? I think you need to brush up on this law quite a bit.
Yes, sir.
You seem confused over it, Raymond, just to be honest with you.
Yes, sir.
One thing that kind of came to mind when this popped up, I'm not trying to bring up old stuff, but you remember whenever it was probably about 5 years ago and I was your sergeant on patrol and you had a guy that kind of a similar thing happened over at those where it was like a halfway house for people that are suffering from mental illness over behind Shannon, and he
Yes, sir. I remember this you're talking about.
we had him lawfully detained. You had an articulable detention, but he didn't want to give you his name. And during that shift, we kind of found out about it, and me and the lieutenant talked to you about it. And it's very similar that you had a good detention. He just wasn't going to tell you, and you arrested him for failure to ID, and then we went back and unarrested him and told him to drop the charges, and you remember that. So that's one thing that's kind of stood out is that, yes, this is it's a commonly misunderstood law. It really is. You're not the only one, but got to make sure that we're leaving a good impression for these younger guys like maybe this year that, you know, to brush up on that. So we're not digging you, we're not perfect, but it did stick out, if that makes sense.
Another thing, looking back at this one, I mean, you've already admitted that y'all might should have treated it like a consensual contact instead of a detention, because you got sent there for a possible intoxicated person, right?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't see any signs of intoxication. So I'm not really sure you had a detention. I mean, I think initially you did.
I would agree.
But once you determine that I don't think he's intoxicated, that's going to turn into a consensual contact. And I mean, you know, on a consensual, they can lie, they don't have to say anything and walk off.
No, this example is given me. They can tell me their name's Mickey Mouse, and
Right.
we're done.
Yeah.
Yes,
So, I mean, we gotta, we gotta make that determination. But the bottom line is, if it's a consensual contact or detention, I don't think y'all could have arrested him just because he wouldn't give you his name.
Yes, sir.
And I just want you to, I want to make sure you understand that. Okay.
Because the ultimate goal, man, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like we want to see people get in trouble. It's just that we want to make sure people are doing the best that they can. Correction.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Not very bright, are you? Okay, dumbass.